Something's definitely happening with Tesla investors right now. Earlier this week, we saw a whole host of institutional investors raising one price target after another. Then in a surprise, we saw one prominent Tesla bear, Craig Irwin, do an about face, and now he's become a bull. Today, we'll watch video of the biggest Tesla short there has been. Danny Moses announced he's retreating and going back to his cave. It'll be fun to also watch him just a few months ago say Tesla was his favorite short and double down at $172. Second, let's contrast this to legendary investor Chris Camillo, who on his podcast DumbMoney Live talks about why he might now go big on Tesla stock. Chris is famous for growing his $20,000 account to $60 million by following trends, and now we can't stay on the sidelines anymore. We'll watch several of those clips. Joining me is Brian White, Mr. Brian White, the best Tesla retail analyst out there. Check him out on his YouTube channel, FutureAza. Welcome, Brian.
Great to be here. What an exciting week, but isn't it always?
It always is. You're traveling as you do to, I think, take a closer look at Cybercab. So check out his channel and he'll do, and he's actually speaking to some of the actual engineers who worked on the Cybercab. So check him out on his channel there. All right. Something's happening. Something's happening, Brian. We're seeing institutional analysts raise the targets. That's shocking for us, really. But got the bears. You got bears flipping, flopping, changing, losing money, I guess. That's one of the reasons. So let's take a look at what happened here. You've got big trader, big short trader. He's famous for the big short. Danny Moses. He's done shorting Tesla. So basically, let's listen to what he says. He's changed his mind. Did he change his mind? Or was he forced to change his mind?
Tesla now. The rally taking a breather today. Shares down 1.5% after new data showed deliveries from its Shanghai factory fell for the second month in a row. Yet our guest trader tonight, Danny Moses, who's been short Tesla at various times since 2016, isn't betting against it right now. And for the viewer, you're constantly trading, so keep us updated on where you are.
Listen, I first got into the trade after the Solar City deal was done in kind of late 2016 into 2017, thinking that, wow, it was an awful deal. I'm going to get into the stock now short, off and on for the last few years. The first quarter this year, when they reported,
who was the CEO of Solar City at the time?
His cousin.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. We won't go to. He won that court case also.
Okay.
So fast forward to the first quarter this year. It had just started to trade on fundamentals for the first time in a long time. It was hanging around $140, $150, right? So you felt, okay, the quarter was bad. What happened? Promise of autonomous day in August, which ended up getting pushed out to October. Flies to China to get some regulatory relief on certain things. And lo and behold, attaches himself to Trump to make all the other stuff go away. When the story moves from non-fundamental to technical and those nature, that's when I leave a story. And we talk about it on the podcast a lot, giving updates there. But to people that are listening now, it's very difficult, certainly to short a name that is not trading on fundamentals. It's also hard to go long a name when it's all on promises. And I'll say this about Musk. He's promised shareholders things in the past that never came to fruition, was given the benefit of the doubt. He's now talking about cutting $2 trillion from the U.S. budget, being able to basically improve the budget. And you're not going to be able to do that. So it's one thing to mess with shareholders. It's another, in my opinion, to mess with the American citizen. We'll see. But it feels like it's moving from the corporate world into the U.S.
Don't mess with America, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to go there a little bit just to round that out.
The question is,
Okay, let's pause there. What do you think of what you just heard there, Brian?
You were shorting it in 2016. That's courageous. I get that there were emotions involved, and he's saying that as soon as you take the emotions out and just look at the reality of it, it's not something you want to do. And if he was still short recently, yeah, at some point you're going to hit max pain. For Mark Wahlberg, I think that was 2008. I think he made that film, but it is brutal. It is brutal if you shorted at 170. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're trading above 170 now. So it is going to be, he did say incorrectly, I think, misleading, well, Elon's promised a lot of things that haven't happened. Yes, but he's also delivered things that he didn't promise. We get things that happen to our cars after we buy them that make them better. Cars don't do that. That's not a thing cars are known for. That wasn't part of the deal when people bought their cars, really, that they would get so much better after the fact. And a lot of things, you can look at missed timelines on certain products, but I can also point you to beaten timelines on other products, and timelines that they actually hit right on the money, like all the things we got for autonomy in September and October. So you can argue that And it sounds like he's arguing that, well, I don't like Musk, I don't trust him, but he is unstoppable.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Does Elon Musk want to take away a lot of the safety net services of people who can't even afford Teslas? You know what I mean? I just think this is an uncharted territory where we are right now. It's one thing to take Dick Cheney, who is the CEO of Halliburton, and put him in that sort of seat, and it's a very transparent sort of thing. What's going on with this Doge is going to be it's not going to be particularly transparent.
This is interesting because it does go back to a trade, because you think about who this alienates in terms of Tesla buyers, right? And so for everybody who loves where Elon Musk stands, there's probably somebody else who doesn't. It's on the opposite side.
That might be true for Coca-Cola, or we talk about brands that have alienated. I'm not certain that holds water in terms of Tesla and their base. Maybe I'm 100% wrong. And quite frankly, I don't even know if it's about auto sales anymore. Anyway, so I get what you're saying, but I don't think that moves the needle.
Think about this. Other than this comp package thing that happened yesterday, the only court case that Musk really ever lost was that he was forced to buy Twitter. Right? What happened when he bought Twitter? Only good things happened for him, because he used it as a platform to spread whatever kind of information to get what he wanted. And every single investigation that might have been going on is now gone. But to Dan's point, you should be concerned as a U.S. consumer. If you get approved for FSD when it's still supervisory, it's a danger. And that's not a Tesla comment. That's just in general. So that's the stuff I'm watching for now. It has nothing to do with the Tesla stock.
Again, we know there are industries and the auto sector. The irony here is that actually the big three, or maybe the big two now, don't necessarily love what should be support of Detroit. And again, I know it sounds crazy, but removing EV subsidies and making it more expensive to build an EV car is not good news for GM, who's not given any credit for their ICE business. So GM shareholder, I actually think some of this is sentiment that will just work its way through. But I mean, look at the steel sector today. There's all these conversations about keep it in America, build it in America, no foreign partners for America. Not great always.
Hey, really quickly, I know Mel wants to move here. They also want to cut the CFPB. So we're talking about autos. We're talking.
Okay. Oh my God. I have no idea what they were talking about. They're just, what? Their logic is convoluted. They don't make any sense. They're just making things up. What are they saying?
The vampire in the powder blue shirt was saying that GM is going to get hurt. Or I assume it's a vampire. He looks like anyway. But GM is going to get hurt worse. The CFPB thing, I mean, we're getting pretty off the rails there, but if you're looking at what the company is, if you're looking at what the incentives will be a year from now, 2-3 years from now, when battery manufacturing credits are gone, when the IRA potentially is gone, that while Tesla would survive that, it's not great for the industry. The industry would suffer for it. And it's great that our shares will go up in value, but really what I'd like is more electric vehicles on the road. And I think this will stand to slow adoption. But to his point, Elon is unstoppable. These are, the only court case he's ever lost was that he was forced to buy Twitter, now X, and that's worked out all right for him.
Exactly. So why bet against Elon? It's one of the craziest moves somebody might want to consider. So here's Elon laughing at this because obviously the shorts were really trying to take down Tesla. So far, it looks like that Tesla is winning here. This is a video of this Danny Moses in the summer. So it was like earlier this year when it was 172. And this is when he said he'll double down. So let's watch what he said then.
Sticking with his short call on the stock after calling for it to head to $50 here on our show last November. So how do you feel about it now?
For someone who cares so much about the human race, he is firing a lot of humans at this moment. And everything's kind of falling apart in their core business. So what's he doing? He's pointing everybody to robo-taxis and AI and autonomy and all that. At the same time, the DOJ is now, Reuters is reporting, is investigating this for wire fraud, et cetera, because he's been selling a product that doesn't exist. So we have August 8th is this unveiling of Robotaxi Day. And before that, it's going to be the vote. Shareholders are probably going to grant him $56 billion in options, obviously, here. A big news event that I don't think got enough play was an investment into a company called Wave, which has been around now for 7 years, by SoftBank, by NVIDIA, and a follow-on by Microsoft, Bill Gates personally, et cetera. $1 billion just got injected. This company is now in the process. They are using autonomy right now for driving in cities. And so I don't think people paid attention to that enough. I'm invested in a venture capital fund Compound that actually has an investment. They were there early 7 years ago, so just for full disclosure. So I've been up on the story for a long time. I think people really need to see, and I think the more time that goes by here and their core business is coming under pressure, I think this move to own it for robo-taxis and AI is going to, fade over time. So 150 billion market cap at $50 seems like a reasonable valuation to me.
You're still short, and you're looking
short.
forward to head to 50.
Yeah, staying short.
Sticking with his short call on the stock after calling for it to.
All right. That was earlier.
I want to address that because he makes a point that sounds very good on paper. Look, once it's solved, it can be solved everywhere by everyone, sure. Let's take China out of the equation. Chinese cars are not going to be running robo-taxis in the US, maybe not even in Europe. We don't know yet. In China, Chinese companies can dominate or at least have equal footing to Tesla. But let's talk about the US. Let's say tomorrow everyone solves it. Everyone. Tesla, Cruise, Waymo, Mobileye, everyone, Wave, everyone solves it tomorrow. What happens is Tesla deploys it tomorrow and the other guys start building a new car that'll be out in 3 to 5 years. A 3 to 5 year advantage is potentially insurmountable. People would be used to them. They'd be comfortable with them. They'd be everywhere. They would be the name in robotaxis while everyone else is still trying to figure out what the shape of the car is going to be. And that is a lead that can't be ignored. And if everyone solves it except Tesla today, and Tesla solves it in 1 year, Tesla still has the advantage because the cars are already on the road, because they can ramp manufacturing quicker, because they're so much more nimble and agile. If your play is who's going to crack autonomy and when, I see one clear winner.
Good points. Very good points. All right. Well, that's
why you bring me.
I think he's, for sure. That's why he's lost tons of money. That's basically the end of it. He doesn't want to not short. He wants to keep doubling down, but he just lost it. He had to shut it down. So, okay, let's move on to actual investors who actually understand what they're watching. And this is Chris Camillo. I've interviewed him in the past. He's really big on the humanoid bots. He's not excited about Tesla's auto business, never was. But what happened recently with FSD 13, it pushed him, and you'll hear him say he needs to really think again. Maybe he can't wait that much longer. He needs to go a little deeper. So he has a DumbMoney Live podcast that he does, and we've taken some clips, and we'll watch some of these clips as we move forward here.
So my big question for you this morning, is this new breakthrough in self-driving a big enough breakthrough for you to finally go all in?
Well, that's all I've been thinking about the last 72 hours, Dave. I hate this.
That's why we had to have an emergency show. We never do Monday shows. Usually it's Tuesday, Thursday at the best. We're starting the week with you guys right after a long holiday weekend.
But by the way, there are like 3 shows that I wanted to do before this show, and but I can't now because of
we were not expecting version 13.2 to be downloaded to the general population of Tesla drivers over the weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to no. So Dave, I want to get your guys' opinion. This is the last thing I wanted. I was prepared to put on this massive levered Tesla options trade that would be extraordinarily risky. And I did not want to do it unless I was convinced that the market was starting to fully grasp the optimist potential. And I don't think the market is yet, but now we have this other thing, this V13. And quite honestly, the videos are stunning. I watched every one of them. I think I watched every V13. If you're watching this show, but don't have time to spend 4 hours watching every single person that has driven V13 give their opinion, you don't have to anymore because I did all that work for you. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is stunningly impressive with a few glitches that are mostly related to parking, which appears to be easily fixable in the next iteration, and they've already kind of hinted at that, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they've already said in the next version they specifically are going to improve the parking. So they've already announced that.
Oh, okay. So Chris Camillo, right? Legendary. He was known. He took a $20,000 account. He made a $60 million. He was part of GameStop. He was part of The Big Short. he was there. And I interviewed him, just talked to him a few days ago. He has been sitting on the sidelines for Tesla because he really believes in autonomy, optimist. You'll hear him say that a few times here. But this FSC 13 popped out of something that he wasn't really thinking was going to come anytime soon. And then it changed his mind because of FSC 13.2. What's your thinking? What are you hearing out there?
Well, they're absolutely right about version 13. Everything I've seen is shocking. It is stunning. It is what we've been waiting for. When it comes to, I think it's hilarious that he was saying bots are the key play. Wait a minute, what is this? What that really means is, in his view, there are two key plays that could catapult the stock over the near term. Those are, I mean, that's a huge vote of confidence right there. And what you're looking at is, there's that, there's some weird parking issues that they say they're working on. Right. Saying you're working on it doesn't count. It has to be something that's actually solvable. But if you look at the problems we're seeing, they do look pretty simple. These are very, very easy compared to, say, understanding a roundabout or going through a busy intersection with pedestrians and mixed vehicles. And all of those things have been solved. When I was in Carmel, visiting Bradford Ferguson from Halter Ferguson Financial and Rebellionaire, he said, let's hop in the car and let's hit 30 roundabouts. I want you to see this. And it handled every one of them effortlessly. So solving that last 5 feet of parking is pretty trivial in comparison. And I'm looking forward to getting it. I'm looking forward to getting version 13. At some point I will. Hopefully it'll be early enough that someone would come in and watch it.
Nice. Yeah. I've been asking the question, is this the ChatGPT moment? It's not. ChatGPT is when you have consumers have a general awareness. But there is a moment that has happened just this week with FSC 13.2 for certain investors, right? So you see institutional investors upping their upgrades because of a 13.2 release. Didn't they previously all say it's all about earnings? Is that what they're saying? But why would you increase the upgrade because of a FSC release? Right?
Honestly, I'll tell you, I think the reason is because they ran out of their standard answers on why they're increasing the price targets. And it's humiliating to be so far off of the current trading price. And we see people who say, well, we assign a price target of 500 and a sell rating or something like that. And you're like, wait, well, but it's not at 500. You think it's going to, but it's all dartboard astrology. I don't know if these traders actually could beat the market, they'd be doing it instead of telling you how.
Yeah, Stifel raised it to $410, which is the highest on Wall Street right now for Tesla. Then you got these, Craig Irwin was a longtime bear. He's now a bull. He gave a $360 price target. That it's like from I can't remember what it was, $80 something to $350.
Well, Gordon Johnson raised his price target from, I think, 25 to 27. So that's a huge upgrade.
Tells you something. But it's investors like this who are now saying, oh, crap, this is just 13.2, a release, right? So, all right, let's listen to what he's saying now.
Just real quick, it is very unusual. It is very unusual to see an upgrade for autonomy. So, yes, please continue.
Right.
Or in money.
So here's the thing about FSD. I don't care about Tesla Automotive. That I do care a little bit about FSD. But what I mostly care about, beyond Optimus, is what the rest of the world thinks about FSD. Now, even though I don't think it's like necessarily like a multi-trillion-dollar increase in Tesla value over any short window of time, which I do feel that way about Optimus. Other people do feel that it is potentially worthy of doubling or tripling Tesla's stock over a short period of time if and when FSD proves to be the thing that everyone has been hoping for the past 12 or 13 years. So what I've been looking for is this the moment when it's pretty much undebatable that thing is now about to happen? Because it doesn't matter what I think, guys. The Tesla fanboys have been waiting for this moment for a very long time. Okay.
So
and they got money. They got money now.
Here's something though that ties the two together. I know you are so the automotive business, take it or leave it. This was a demonstration of the computing power that Tesla has to turn visual input into mechanical control out. And that is what a Tesla bot does. This is just a version of a robot that is on 4 wheels.
I'm glad he said that, because that's exactly what I was about to say. I know Chris, and I'm like, he's just thinking. Chris is an investor, and one of the things he does is actually plays options. And when he says, I'm going to go big, he goes big and he plays it. So he's looking for short-term jumps, right? And he wasn't thinking about FSC is going to do that. It's going to be a long time. Now he's saying, okay, this is what other people are saying. But that's exactly the point. It is a bot. He's big on optimist. This is a bot. What else did you hear there?
Just that it's difficult to say when you're looking at a product like that, what's going to make the stock pop over the short term. Over the long term, you and I have pages of thesis on what's going to move it. But over the short term, it relies heavily on sentiment. It relies on public perception. If there's, if you see one crash on a Uber autonomous vehicle, it sunk the entire division. Was it because the product was really that bad? Maybe, but really it was just public perception that was driving the whole thing. So yeah, I think we're seeing a bit of confusion in him while he's trying to figure it out. Like he said, I've been thinking about this for the last 72 hours, and here we are having this emergency session to talk about it. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Oh, I love Chris. He's very, very good. He's got his instincts, and so he's just another, the other side here. You got the people who are bears who just feel like it's going to fall, and then you got bulls like this who is surprised, and now he's so when he speaks, it's not just wishful thinking. He really is. He's known for sentiment. That's how he became big. Is he follows sentiment really closely, investor sentiment. And that's how he knows, that's why he's very, even if I don't think about it, but if everyone else is feeling this way and they feel like they're going to throw money in at some point, that's what he's trying to put his bets on. Let's watch this final clip from him.
It's starting to get a little scary for me.
How much more levered long on Tesla could you possibly get? When you see the optimist moment, how crazy are you going to be on this?
The optimist moment for me is I had this conversation with a guy yesterday who's a massively large Tesla investor and even a bigger robot investor, meaning that we are all invested in the same private robot companies together. And he is one of the largest investors in one of these, all of the robot companies, honestly, but one of them in particular. I'm a big investor in another one. We're both invested in all of them. You guys are invested in all of them with me. So we agreed that because he's looking to put on a massively levered position in Tesla based on Optimus as well, that this might be, and he's about our age, guys, that this might be the last really, really big opportunity of our investing lifetime to go all in on something, to get just astonishing gains if nothing crazy happens and our thesis plays out. And I'm not going to say it's the last time, but it feels like it might be the last time to get this type of an event, like an internet revolution event. So I'm going to be uncomfortably levered in Optimus, in Tesla. It's just I've been preparing for it for 18 months. I'm already uncomfortable as of my trade this morning, and I'm really concerned because there are so many things that could bring Tesla down right now.
That's what I want to talk about. What kind of downside risk do you have between now and your Optimus play?
Huge downside risk.
What are those things that you're worried most about?
I mean, anything related to Elon's relationship with the administration, anything that related to just Elon generally, because he is an unpredictable CEO and person. Anything related to China and Tesla. We could get into some trade war that could end up being a big net negative somehow for Tesla's global business. I don't know. There are a lot of things that could happen. It won't take much to temporarily knock Tesla down. So this is why I did not want to be in this position, because I was confident that once the Optimus trade starts, that there is nothing anybody could do, whether it be political, geopolitical, Elon, once Optimus starts, I think that trade is so big. I think that train is so unstoppable that I feel really comfortable being ultra levered in Tesla at that moment in time.
I actually agree with what he's saying there, which is the bot. Even if the bot actually turns out to be a real business, Tesla starts to sell it, and you can actually see that it's very successful, it's going to scale. At that point, it may not even matter so much if a war happens, if there's a recession, if like, I mean, obviously it will. I'm not dumb enough to say that, but I'm just saying that this opportunity is so big and so important. If there is a war, what do you need? Bots. If there is a recession, what do you need? Bots. It's like one of those things that could actually surpass that, or at least, balance it a little bit.
It's just nice to see a trader willing to share both sides of the thesis, because there are potential downsides, and anyone who tells you they're not, that everything is going to be rosy forever, is selling you snake oil for their own personal gain, whatever it may be. Or maybe they're just mentally ill. I don't know. I'm not going to judge them, but you've got to look at the possibilities. Things can't always go well. When you create a company, you have to write into your plan your exit strategy. So, well, yes, but everything's going to be great forever. Right. But what if it isn't? Just have that in mind. Don't assume the worst, but have a plan for should that happen. You and I would not get wiped out by the stock dipping 30% tomorrow. If you're playing in options, you could get wiped out. You could get wiped out over 5 or 10%. So those moves can be very dangerous. But big risk, big reward. That's how he's made. That's why he has 60 million and not 24,000. So yeah, I think these are all very good points.
You're right though. He's highly leveraged. He's doing options. So this is not for regular people to follow.
Not for me.
Don't do this. But you can think for somebody like him who's looking for opportunities, he sees bot, and of course I'm with him on that. Also invested myself in the same companies that he is for the robots. And then FSD, he said, right, he wasn't something he was really caring about so much. And then now it's popped up. And this is what the whole show was about today. It's like really you're watching these investors flipping because they see FSD is actually turning into a real possibility at this point. So.
Exactly. I agree entirely.
Thank you so much, Brian. Check him out. He's going to be doing a deep dive on the Cybercab live at an event with actual Cybercab engineers. And so we know Brian, he's going to be asking the right questions. Dig in there, find out more about that Cybercab for us. Thank you, Brian. Check him out on his YouTube channel at FutureAza. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.